the top, baby, don't stop. You can have it, you can have it all. Let's go to the top, baby, don't stop. Love, joy, peace, good life and family. We'll win success. Let's go.
Hey, welcome to the Jewel Tankard Talk Show. Remember, our show deals with faith, family, and finances. And today we're going to be talking about a pretty sensitive topic. So if you have children watching, you may want to have them step out on this one. But I think it's going to really speak to a lot of issues that we see in family. And that topic is abuse. Abuse in the blended family and abuse in the family. So make sure you stay tuned.
Impact is
Impact is community, where differences in background, color, culture, and thinking unified to provide solutions and spark innovation. Where thinking different makes you distinct and not an outsider. Where when a neighbor is weak, another comes in strength. The Impact Network, for spirit, soul, and body. Impact is yours.
Together now, we can make it better now. Come on, can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
We'll rope it up,
Cause we know how to jump.
we'll roll it out,
Cause we know how to skate.
we'll cut it down,
Cause we know what to eat.
we'll swap it out.
We eat healthy stuff.
Can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
Can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
Yeah, well come on.
Today's a good day to grab your kids and hang out with them for an hour. Dance, walk, play a sport, or cook a healthy meal. Because just moving a little and eating better every day can help make you and your child healthier.
Can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
We'll ball it up,
Cause we know how to hoop.
we'll mess around,
Cause we know how to play.
we'll drop it down,
Cause we know how to dance.
we'll veg it up,
Veggie night and day.
Can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
All in together now, we can make it better now.
Search We Can to find doable tips and activities that you can use every day to keep you and your kids healthy.
Pastors, preachers, teachers, and evangelists, it's time to take your ministry to the next level. Broadcast on the Impact Network. Spread your message to millions. Sell products. Expand your audience. Advertise. The Impact Network provides captive audiences, quality programming, low rates, national exposure. Start airing today. Call 313-243-1600. That's 313-243-1600.
Welcome back to the Jewel Tankard Talk Show. Thank you for joining us today. I've got my good friend back here with me, clinical psychologist, family therapist. This chick is bad to the bone. She is writing for Essence Magazine every single week. Okay, I thought it was every month. She said, no, honey, it was every week. I said, I better get my stuff together. But it's every week. That is amazing. It's weighing in on relationships. And certainly you know her from Braxton Family Values. She's certainly helping those sisters in that family to heal. And then also, most recently, we've seen her recently on Housewives of Atlanta weigh in on Candy and Todd's sexual intimacy issues. And so this woman is well spoken, very knowledgeable, and really has a heart for God and a heart for people. So Dr. Sherry, we love you. So glad to have you back.
Appreciate it. Love you.
Talk about, you know, I'm getting behind everything that you do. Ben and I do, the whole Tankard clan. We just really believe in what you're doing. Talk to us a little bit about what's happening with You Matter.
You know, You Matter is a program I started because so many people need help, but they're afraid to get help. And it's the stigma that prevents us, and I say us, and mostly African Americans, from seeking help in terms of mental health. Yeah. So You Matter stands for Understanding Mental Health Through Technology and Education and Research. So what we're doing is some non-traditional things, getting the word out that it is okay to seek help. We won't come to hear about mental health in terms of a lecture, but we'll come to a concert, and maybe Ben can play one of those. We'll come to a comedy show. We'll come to a lot of things. And this is an opportunity to learn about mental health, not only understanding the warning signs, understanding how to get help, understanding what the process is. And there's a big gala, and the kickoff is June 5th in Atlanta. So I hope everybody will come. Please come. And that's an opportunity for people to realize, you know what, as a community, we really have to join together because people are hurting. And it's not not an issue of do we need to, we must. Because at this point in time, you know what, it does take a village, and we all must stand together and help people that are in need of help.
Yeah, that's really good. And then also, you have a book out right now that is super hot. The Single Married Woman.
The Single Married Woman.
Weigh in on why they need to buy it and who's that for?
The Single Married Woman is not just for women. It is for men, because if the men were at it, the women wouldn't have as much problems. But we won't tell them that. The Single Married Woman is about women that do it all. You know, as women, we tend to take on everything for everybody. We don't take care of ourselves. We look around, we want to be in a relationship, we want to be married, we want to be doing the right things, but we take on the problems. I mean, we take it on from work to children to the husband to the house to the and we look up and we're sometimes ill, we're sometimes hurting, and we're to return. And you know, that can cause physical symptoms. Number one killer for most people in this country is cardiovascular disease. And when we look at that, what are the 3 things that are the top warning signs? We have diabetes, obesity, and high blood pressure.
Wow.
And those are the 3 leading causes of cardiovascular disease. And as women, we see the warning signs, but we don't take
We
note.
ignore them. So everybody, you guys need to go out and buy that book. I mean, that's
The Single
huge.
Married Woman.
I love what you're doing, and we've got this precious family here. I want to jump right in here. This is Alfred and Jessica Patman. Yay, we welcome you today. You all have a tremendous story. I want to thank you for your courage in advance. They've been married for 8 years, correct? And you had a situation where your son molested her daughter. I think he was 11 or 12 at the time.
11.
And your daughter was how old at the time?
6 or 7.
She was about 6 or 7. Okay. So when you first found out about that information, how did it impact your marriage?
For me, it shook it in a way where I felt like I made the wrong decision in getting married and then marrying someone that had a son. So I felt like I brought it into my house, and I was the reason that it even happened to her.
Okay. What about you?
For me, I'm the one that walked in on the situation. When I walked in, it wasn't an acting place. It was that he was like in a blanket with a doll and a teddy bear. So it's like I caught it at the beginning. So with that first reaction, I roughed him up, and with that happening, it was a big heavy spirit in the house.
In the house after that. So we're gonna take a break, but we're gonna come back and talk a little bit more about that, because I want you guys to know you're not by yourself, are they, Dr. Sherry?
Not at all.
So I want you to stay tuned. We'll be right back on the Jill Tankard Show.
One day, when the glory comes, it will be ours.
Dr. King, what's your next move? In March from Selma to Montgomery.
Selma is loud for every man, woman, and child.
We will not wait any longer.
In front of a crowd.
Mine eyes have seen the glory. Glory, glory, hallelujah.
Impact is taking. Impact is fearless, unafraid to speak the truth in love, committed to be a voice for those who have no voice, and ready to listen. Prepared to stand up for what is right, no matter the consequence, working to correct injustice, whether political or social. The Impact Network, for the spirit, soul, and body. Impact is yours.
And what we have to do is understand that there are boundaries. And I know we punish and we try to separate. We do all those things we can from an external point, but we have to really teach our children in terms of a sense of self, in terms of the value of their bodies, in terms of that. Because what happens is, as children, and you said he was 11, and how old was your daughter?
6.
She was 6. Yes, you say, they knew better. Yes, and they know better to do a lot of things, but sex is no different than a lot of the other things they do. But how do you embrace them and teach them something different, as opposed to just sort of, push them away? Because they'll do it again. And they will do it again because they didn't learn the lesson that the value is within themselves. And that's what we have to start teaching. Where are they now?
My daughter's still with us. She lives in the home. But his son is grown out of the house. He actually got put out of the house before we found out what had happened. But he's on his own.
How long ago did you find out?
We found out in May of last year. My daughter was having some issues.
Impact is taking.
Impact is liberating, presenting life in its fullest and releasing your greatest potential, uncovering your purpose and your destiny, bringing spiritual, physical, mental, emotional, and financial empowerment so you're free to live your calling. The Impact Network, for the spirit, soul, and body. Impact is yours.
Pastors, preachers, teachers, and evangelists, it's time to take your ministry to the next level. Broadcast on the Impact Network. Spread your message to millions. Sell products. Expand your audience. Advertise. The Impact Network provides captive audiences, quality programming, low rates, national exposure. Start airing today. Call 313-243-1600. That's 313-243-1600.
Together now, we can make it better now. Come on, can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
We'll rope it up,
Cause we know how to jump.
we'll roll it out,
Cause we know how to skate.
we'll cut it down,
Cause we know what to eat.
we'll swap it out.
We eat healthy stuff.
Can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
Can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
Yeah, well come on.
Today's a good day to grab your kids and hang out with them for an hour. Dance, walk, play a sport, or cook a healthy meal. Because just moving a little and eating better every day can help make you and your child healthier.
Can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
We'll ball it up,
Cause we know how to hoop.
we'll mess around,
Cause we know how to play.
we'll drop it down,
Cause we know how to dance.
we'll veg it up,
Veggie night and day.
Can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
All in together now, we can make it better now.
Search We Can to find doable tips and activities that you can use every day to keep you and your kids healthy.
Congratulations to the Impact Network and its founders, Apostle Wayne T. and Dr. Beverly Y. Jackson, for now becoming the only African-American founded and operated international Christian TV network, bringing the gospel to Africa, including over 40 countries and 900 million viewers. We salute you.
Welcome back to the Jewel Tankard Show. I'm sitting here with my good friend, Dr. Sherry Blake, good friend of the Tankards at large. We love her so much. And also these precious people, Alfred and Jessica Patman. Powerful story. We kind of started digging into it. Been married 8 years. Found out that your son molested your daughter. You walked in on the act. So at that point, you disciplined him, it sounds like?
Yes.
Okay, you talked to him about it. Did you feel like that discipline was adequate?
For the time being, yeah, because we felt like it nipped it in the bud, like it had been exposed. So we always talk to our children about what's done in the dark will come to the light.
Right.
So we felt like, okay, we don't have to worry about this again. And then to put measures in place so that, okay, it won't happen again in case, you know, he had those thoughts or those feelings arose.
So did you guys put measures in place after you saw that? Do you feel like you set up stronger boundaries, or?
Well, the way our house was set up at the time is that we had a 2-story home. So he had one room, and then my daughter and my other daughter shared a room. And so we felt like, okay, well, it's not okay with them just having doors. They can't be upstairs at all together. So even though we're in the same house, they weren't left alone. There's no cameras upstairs, so it's not like, you know, if something was happening, we would know. So we no longer allowed them to be upstairs together, even though that was her room or his room. One of them always had to be downstairs.
And so it still happened even though you set that boundary in place? So, I mean, you can jump in.
You know, one of the things, you know, you're not alone. Abuse in families, it's more common than we would like to think. A lot of families are not comfortable in talking about it, and I really, again, I commend you for being here. Children are curious about sexual issues, and they are curious, and it's like a switch. Once that switch is on, they tend to sort of do it. And what we have to do is understand that there are boundaries. And I know we punish and we try to separate, we do all those things we can from an external point, but we have to really teach our children in terms of a sense of self, in terms of the value of their bodies, in terms of that. Because what happens is, as children, and you said he was 11, and how old was your daughter? She was 6. Yes, you say, you know, they knew better. Yes, and they know better to do a lot of things, but sex is no different than a lot of the other things they do. But how do you embrace them and teach them something different, as opposed to just sort of, you know, pushing them away? Because they'll do it again. And they will do it again because they didn't learn the lesson that the value is within themselves. And that's what we have to start teaching. Where are they now?
My daughter's still with us. She lives in the home, but his son is grown, out of the house. He actually got put out of the house before we found out what had happened, but he's on his own.
How long ago did you find out?
We found out in May of last year. My daughter was having some issues at school, and she opened up to me and told me what had happened. But by this time, he was...
and she was how old?
When she told me, she was 13. She told me.
That's not unusual either. Kids hold things inside because they're fearful. They're fearful of retaliation. They're fearful of the abuser. And you know, again, your son made some bad choices. It doesn't mean he's a bad person. It means that he's a person that didn't get some needs met at a very young age. So what you have to do is understand that if he doesn't get the help he needs, then it'll take it to the next level. It won't be a touching or that kind of stuff. It'll be rape. It'll be some things that he can't get out of. Your daughter, in terms, she's hurting. And I'm sure she's hurting. She held that in because it impacts the self-esteem. A lot of times we only think about the person that it's happened to, but the self-esteem of your son is equally as wounded. And let's keep that in mind. He's wounded in a different way, and he doesn't know how to take it except through aggression and sexual aggression. Your daughter, I would suggest you really get her some help, get her in therapy, because she has to understand those are events that happen to her, but that's not who she is.
That's good. So let me ask you this, Dr. Sherry, because I know people who, you know, if you find your child you know, playing around in a sexually perverted way, the automatic response probably is to spank them and to tell them that's not appropriate behavior. Now, he did that at 11. Most children explore at that age. That's a very common area. Do you feel like that he would still, do you feel like that every child that explores sexually when they're younger will continue on to their adult age?
Not
because he's 20 now, I think. So, yeah.
It depends on what type intervention takes place. And at 11, you know, discipline, you had to discipline. But if therapy had been put in place, because again, it's about learning about boundaries. It's about learning about self. And again, as African Americans, we tend to shy away from that because we try to handle things in-house. You know, we don't want to talk about it. And that's not just you, that's pretty much the community. That's why it's so important to reduce stigma where people will know, where your daughter feel free to get help. Because we teach our children, just don't do it.
Right.
But we don't understand, we don't teach them why. We don't teach them the basis. And so it doesn't mean that they're going to turn out to be this horrible person that's going to be looming at every woman. But what it does mean is that person has a void. That person has a void and they have no idea how to fulfill it. If intervention doesn't take place, what they learn to do is it's a sense of power. So they use that power to control women.
Gotcha.
And that's where you get into
That's where you get into that. So now, because now, let me understand this. I don't think now, right now, that you all don't really have a relationship with him, and it's basically because of this act, or was there anything else that happened?
It's mainly because of the act. Like I said before, he got put out because he wanted to be the man of the house, or didn't realize and respect that, you know, his dad is the man of the house, so he tested the limits. But we still communicated with him. If I saw him at church or if I saw him outside, I would give him a hug. There was love. There's still love now, but it's more of a I'm distanced, because I feel like my daughter needs to know that I have her back. I support her.
Gotcha.
And she means the world to me.
And so that's impacted, is your relationship, do you feel, would you be angry if your husband started to pursue a relationship with him as well? Because it's still his son.
I wouldn't be angry. I'll probably just be distant, or I wouldn't want him to expect for me to do the same if I'm not ready for that.
Part of that is that you are hurt, and it's hard to forgive when you have so much pain. And one of the things that what you hold on to ties and binds you to. You have to both find some room for forgiveness, and you have to work through that. You didn't intend for this to happen, and it's not your fault. And a lot of times parents blame yourself. You blame, if I shouldn't have married him, if I did. No. That's not what it's about. We do the best we can as parents, or at least we should. So I say to you, you have to get some help for you. You can't save your daughter until you save yourself. And right now, your pain is going to flow over to her pain. And now she's going to push back. She may have shared the story, but she knows you're hurting. There's probably a lot of anger on both sides. Anger is nothing more than another feeling, and you have to deal with the anger. You can't put a Band-Aid on it and pretend it didn't happen. You can't throw him out to the wind and say he doesn't exist. He's alive and he's well. He needs you, but he needs you in a different way.
That's really good, because my concern was, first of all, he did that at 11, probably 12, 13. Can we get some tissue on the set, please? Probably 12, how long did it happen, from 11 to 13 maybe? And I just know at that age, we probably all did some stupid things that I wouldn't want your family relationships to be punished from a childhood mistake. You know what I mean? And I'm not condoning that. But at the same time, I would want there to hopefully be some restoration that could happen, where she could maybe discuss with her with your daughter, listen, what he did was wrong, but we can't punish him for the rest of his life, because there may be things that she does. And so now if she does something, will you take that same stance?
Also, we have no idea what has happened to him. Where, at 11, what has happened to him? Do we know if he has been abused himself? A lot of times kids that abuse have already been abused. Sometimes they do things that they are mimicking from what they learned from someone else. So we have to, that's why therapy is important, to see where is this coming from. What has happened that at age 11 that he felt comfortable, he felt a need to do that. Like I said, sexual curiosity, that's normal. But when those boundaries are crossed, what has happened to him? And we don't know. Or maybe you do know. Has something happened to him?
No, because when that happened, I took him out, and because, like I said, it was a heavy spirit in the house. And so he wouldn't come out of his room, he wouldn't eat, he wouldn't sit with the family. And so I told him, I said, well, we need to get together. I said, we're going to have a talk. I said, write down some questions you might have for me. I said, because we're going to go out and we're going to talk. I got him prepared of what's going to happen, So I took him out to an all-you-can-eat buffet, to kind of calm things, put food on the stomach. Then I told him, instantly I told him, I said, well, I love you. I said, and instantly I seen something just fall off of.
Oh wow, that's so good. And Alfred, I don't mean to get ready to cut you. We've got to get ready to go to break. That's so good, because I think that's probably one of the #1 things that a child wants to know. Even though I made these mistakes, will you still love me right where I am? And so I'm sure that this ministered to you today. Listen, we've got more. We'll be right back after this break.
Together now, we can make it better now. Come on, can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
We'll rope it up,
cause we know how to jump.
we'll roll it out,
Cause we know how to skate.
we'll cut it down,
Cause we know what to eat.
we'll swap it out.
We eat healthy stuff.
Can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
Can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
Yeah, well come on.
Today's a good day to grab your kids and hang out with them for an hour. Dance, walk, play a sport, or cook a healthy meal. Because just moving a little and eating better every day can help make you and your child healthier.
Can we do it?
Yeah, you know that we can.
We'll ball it up,
Cause we know how to hoop.
we'll mess around,
Cause we know how to play.
we'll drop it down,
Cause we know how to dance.
we'll veg it up,
Veggie night and day.
Can we do it?
Yeah, you know that
to find doable tips and activities that you can use every day to keep you and your kids healthy.
Impact is
social. Impact is liberating, presenting life in its fullest and releasing your greatest potential, uncovering your purpose and your destiny, bringing spiritual, physical, mental, emotional, and financial empowerment so you're free to live your calling. The Impact Network, for the spirit, soul, and body. Impact is yours.
Impact is
social.
Impact is community, where differences in background, color, culture, and thinking unified to provide solutions and spark innovation. Where thinking different makes you distinct and not an outsider. Where when a neighbor is weak, another comes in strength. The Impact Network, for spirit, soul, and body. Impact is yours.
Welcome back to the Jewel Tankard Show. I just really want to thank my guest, Dr. Sherry. Amazing, amazing clinical psychologist. You can look her up. Look up our information on You Matter, mental health, and not being afraid to get help. And then her new book, The Single Married Woman. That's a powerful book. And by the way, it's for men too. That couple, man, I mean, how much courage. Alfred and Jessica Patman, I can't say thank you to them enough. I'm sure that this minister spoke to you, maybe not in your own family, maybe in somebody you know. So next, we are going on to our next segment, the Reality Watch. Let's see what we're going to be talking about today. Fighting for significance in a big family is tough. Let's talk about the battle between the Braxtons. You have 5 beautiful sisters, all very talented, but only 2 are kind of thrust into the spotlight, Tony and Tamar. Everyone else kind of, maybe feels a little left behind. How do you deal with that? I mean, that's a real subject. And this is why, I was talking earlier on the show about parents affirming their children, letting them know that you are loved right where you are. Because the reality is everybody may not necessarily be called to the spotlight or can handle the pressures of the spotlight. It's more to being in the spotlight than just being in the spotlight, okay? There's persecution, there's ridicule, there's people's opinion about what you should do, how you shouldn't do it. So there's a whole lot more. So I just say, listen, you know what? Learn to be grateful for the portion that God gave you. Whether it's behind the scenes or in front of the camera, just know that you have value, that you're gifted, that you're talented in your own right. And I think the best place that children can hear that from are parents. And so as parents, you have to make sure. We've got 5, honey, really 7, because my 2 daughter-in-laws. I just try to let everybody know you're significant. No part is insignificant. Every part is significant. So listen, I hope you were blessed today. Remember that you can have it all. And I'll see you next week at the same time on the Jewel Tankard Show. See ya.